Hey Bulldog fans, welcome to another episode, a very special episode of Family Sit Down. Jalen Johnson from Hill State Productions, and I'm here with a few women that have all been affected in some way by breast cancer. As we know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we're gonna talk today about some really strong and awesome women. Right here we have Audrey from cross country and track. We have Kirsten, who is on our cheer team, and we have Coach Nikki McCray-Penson, who is our head women's basketball coach. Thank you guys so much for being here. This means so much to me doing this episode. So I just want to open up the floor for you guys to talk about your experience with breast cancer or the way that you have been impacted. And we'll start here with Audrey.
So I recently, someone that gave me my first job and actually kind of promoted me into the career path that I chose, passed away and had breast cancer. So she was a big influence on my life and even pushed me to run collegiately, even at the SEC level. So I contribute a lot of who I am today as a very strong woman to her.
Kirsten?
So my stepmom was recently, last year, diagnosed with stage 4 triple negative breast cancer, and then we learned that it moved to her liver and her lymph nodes, and it's just been like a really tough pill to swallow, and she's done so many rounds of chemo, and recently she tested positive for the breast cancer gene, so we learned that she's gonna have to take chemo for the rest of her life, and that was just like a hard thing to go through, but like she's been really strong and it kind of gives me faith, and yeah, I'm just really proud of her.
For me, cancer has been very close to home twice. My mom was diagnosed, I wanna say it was 2007. Is when I found out. I just retired from the WNBA coaching, so I was there with her, and she just was so strong, so she just defeated it. She recently just passed away 2 years ago from it, and I was very fortunate to spend that time with her, and I was there when she took her last breath. So although that was a hard time, but it was a very comforting time to be there with her and to have everybody around. So very, very near and dear to me. I was diagnosed, with cancer in 2013. I was a newly mom, just had my son. I was breastfeeding. I thought it was just a milk dud, and come to find out it was cancer. And I'll never forget November 18th, 2013, when I heard those words. I boo-hooed, and then just like the competitor in me, I had my 24 hours and I had a plan of attack, and I've never looked back. So I just don't let, cancer define me or my circumstances. I just try to rise above it. But it has definitely touched my family on a personal side with my mom, who's passed away, and then me personally, who I live with cancer every single day.
And Coach and Audrey, what was the hardest part kind of about watching somebody that you love and going through that?
I think for me personally, she was so strong all the time and was never willing to kind of bring that guard down. So knowing deep down that what she was going through was really tough, but it gave me a lot of strength in knowing that because she had raised me and because I had been around her so much and because she was such a big influence in me, that I knew that deep down I would always have that strength, and that kind of gave me hope in a sense. It's been really interesting this whole month. It's been very heavy on my heart. Just on runs, like she'll just pop in my head, and like I know she's kind of always looking down on me and always part. Even this past race, we did kind of a breast cancer themed race and wore pink. And I got done and I PR'd and everything, and I just looked up and was like, I know you're here. Like I can feel you. And that was satisfying in that factor.
For me, just when my mom went through it the first time, she just was back at work. She was just a warrior, and it was a challenge, and I thought she overcame the challenge for 10, 11 years, and that's how I am. I'm a person that's driven through challenges, and so I just got my strength from her, especially when I found out, because I called her immediately, and I just knew that everything was gonna be okay because, just seeing her battle through it and just rising above it. And it's all about how what you're telling yourself on a daily basis. And you gotta stay true to your plan of attack. You cannot let cancer define you. I mean, you can't, because now it is consuming your everyday life, and that's hard. But once you have that plan of attack, it helps. But I had a support system with my mom. I was involved with a support system at South Carolina, the Young Survivor Coalition. That was a group. And then I had a personal group. So I had a lot of help just to keep me in a normal, daily routine. I never got out of my routine. I went to practice. The players that I coached, I was Coach McCray. It wasn't, I was Coach McCray with cancer. I was Coach McCray. And nothing was different. And that helped as well. So that allowed me to just stay true to form, who I was, and just stay heavily involved in the things that I was doing, because it wasn't about me. It was just really fighting, for my family and just making every day count.
And I know when my mom got diagnosed, I was like inside, like, how am I gonna do this? But then I thought, like, this is not my fight necessarily. Like, I'm like, I have to be strong for her, even though I'm going through emotions. So like, Kirsten, I know this is like newer for you since it was just last year that she got diagnosed. How are you trying to be a rock for her, but then also dealing with your emotions as well?
Well, it is really hard, especially because I'm from Florida. I live 12 hours away, so it's not easy because I don't get to see them. But I just see it's really just her strength. She has so much strength that it gives me faith, and it gives my family faith. And sometimes we're more emotional than she is, and it blows my mind, because it's how could you be going through such a tough thing and still have that much strength? It's crazy to me.
How did you guys deal with that balance of emotion?
I think for me, when my mom was diagnosed, it was just, again, just, hey, how you doing and stuff like that. But when you are a survivor, and you've been diagnosed, you just want everybody to just be the same. Don't treat you different, but just be there for you, and, send those encouraging words. But you want your routine to still be normal, because you already feel like you're different because you've been diagnosed, but you just want everything to be normal. And for us as survivors, it just changes your outlook on things, because you never know, when this day is going to be your last. So you're just trying to build those relationships, and just making sure that, you're spending as much time with family, because you just know that you've been hit with such a disease that, is very, deadly. So I just always told people to tell them, hey, nothing's different.
You're just Nikki.
I'm just Nikki. Just encourage me and keep me in my same routine so that I'm not thinking about it. And that's what really helped me.
I would definitely agree with that. She would always emphasize acting like everything was fine or not changing anything. She was a CEO of her company, so she would still go to work every day and still make sure she was getting all of her stuff. She was like, I've got this, I'm doing it, right. I'm good. And I'm, texting her randomly and checking up. She's like, how's so-and-so boy? How's this going? And I'm like, how are you keeping up with my life and everything? But she was constantly, making sure that everything was completely normal. She was so part of the community and so involved in acting like everything was fine and that she had enough strength that her problems did not matter. It encourages me, because some days when I get an emotional thing, I remind myself, you know what? Everyone else has something else going on. Remind yourself that you're not the only one going through something. So she kind of would always bring that checkpoint back in, and I just still remember, I got this. I will do it. And I'm like, okay.
Keeps you through the day.
Yes.
How are you going to use her memory to propel you forward and to inspire you as you go on to the next level?
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy. This semester in general, and just this season in my life and the season with running, I feel like every time I even get to the start line, she kind of pops in my head, and I remember, I'm running for you, I'm running for your memory, I'm running for your strength. FSU, there's one hill on the course, and I remember running up it, and I'm thinking, because she used to tell me this all the time, people don't run hills like you, Audrey. You run hills all the time. You're from Georgia, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, people don't run hills like me. Yes. Just little things that she used to tell me still pop in my head. So I feel like that's going to continue to propel me for the future. It's one of the reasons that I took the job that I did, because I knew that she would have been like, Audrey, take this. This is for you. Because it was a little bit of, oh my goodness, do I deserve this? I got a job and I'm sitting here and it's 3 semester, you know, I have 1 more semester of college. Like, it was kind of like a holy crap, like I already have a job. But I know that deep down she was like, no, like, you've done everything and I've helped prepare you that you deserve this.
What did you all learn most about the women in your life, you included, when they were going through this fight?
Well, I think for me, you know, my mom is a mom. So, you know, it's just, you know, she just was strong like everybody else is saying, but she just lived her life, you know, and you cannot let your circumstances define you. I think that's the biggest thing. Life goes on. And like you said, everybody has something. You just never know. I mean, people that you look at, they may not have cancer, but they have something going on. It's how you attack the day. You know, what are you telling yourself? And, you know, just being positive and being very thankful. I'm thankful for my journey, you know, with cancer. I think it has allowed me to open my eyes to different things. I think sometimes you don't think that you're not gonna get it, and you're like, whoa, you are. You know, this can happen to anybody, and it happened to me. But now it's about, you know, how do you attack it? How do you continue to live your everyday life? How do you continue to bring hope and joy to other people and just spread awareness like we are today? So it's all about not letting cancer define you. You live your life. It's just a part of your life.
Kirsten, what have you learned about your stepmom?
Well, like she said, I've always told my stepmom that, like, from the start, from when we found out, like, I told her, like, God is over our circumstances. Like, this is not going to set us back or anything. Like, we need to keep pushing forward. I think, like, the hardest thing for me was, like, 3 months before that, my dad and my stepmom got married. So, like, they got married, and then a couple months later, like, that's when she was diagnosed. So, and it was so, like, strong, and it was so bad that we had to, like, immediately start doing something about it. She had to immediately start chemo, and I think that was, like, the hardest thing about it too. And I just, like, the fact that they got married and then now they're still, like, I know it's hard on my dad and, like, the rest of my family too, but the fact that they're still, like, being strong about it, and, like, their marriage is still, like, really strong, and, like, it hasn't set them back or anything, like, that's just really amazing to me.
Coach, watching your mom's battle help you or inspire you in any way when you had to go through yours?
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, because I saw her just knock it out. I mean, she knocked it out of the park. And I just knew her mindset. I was gonna take that same mindset, and I did, just because I saw her go through it and I saw her defeat it every single day. I saw her live her normal life, come home, you know, do the normal things and go to work and go to church and all those things. So, I mean, it just gave me hope. It gave me hope. But not only that, it's also the people that I were around. You know, somebody else had been in my situation and I saw them go through it, you know, and I saw them tell me, you know, every year it gets better. You don't think that in the moment, but every year it gets better. You don't have to do as many tests, all of these things. It starts to get easier. And sure enough, it did. But when you have that circle and you're able to share, you have that space, it makes it easier. And then before you know it, I mean, I'm 7 years out, about to be 7 years on November the 18th. So you just living your life every single day.
And I know we've been talking a lot about their fights, but I want everyone to paint the picture of the woman in your life, breast cancer aside. So Audrey, we'll start with you.
I would say she was the most energetic and positive person that I've ever been around. She carried a light with her. She was so loud. Oh my goodness, anytime she walked in the room, everybody knew, because she was so loud, and I can contribute a little bit of my loudness and proud to be loud to her for sure, because she was like, if you can speak it, you say it. So she was definitely just the loudest and most brightest. It was really neat. She played basketball at Auburn. So hearing the stories of her going, you know, being in athletics in college, I'm like, oh yeah, she's still that same, you know, bubbly, all on the court, gonna be up in your face, will also tell you when you do something wrong. Very blunt, but in the best way possible.
Sandra's just she's outgoing. She loves, like, being out and about and, like, she's big on family. She loves being around us. That's why like I was so glad to welcome her like into our family. And she's just a very fun person. Like she is loud. She's very loud too. she sometimes I'm like, Sandra, tone it down.
I think those are the best women. Like I'm telling you,
it is.
be
But
loud.
I'm also loud, and that's why we just get along so well. She's just a great person.
And I would say, like, my mom was, you know, someone that everybody loved being around. She just, you know, she just made you feel safe. And that's what, you know, she did for people. And I'll never forget, you know, at her funeral, you know, that's what they spoke about, you know, just how they loved being around her, how she made them feel safe. They could come to her about anything. I mean, she was a great cook, number one, but yeah, she gave to people. You know, she gave them energy. You know, it was never about her. I mean, she was a great listener, just fun, outgoing, all of those things, but she loved to make people, you know, be happy. She liked to see them happy.
Janet Johnson, my mom, she's the sweetest thing you will ever meet in your whole entire life. She's just so sweet. She's really corny, really family oriented, and even when she was going through, like, you wouldn't be able to tell. Really strong, just aside from that, and just always worrying about other people, caring and family oriented. So Janet Johnson, I love you, girl, back home. But thank you guys so much for sitting down with me today. I know this topic is just very important to all of us. And important to all of you out there to make sure you guys are staying informed on breast cancer. 1 in 8 women are going to be affected by breast cancer. And men, this can also affect you too. So 99% of people that are affected by breast cancer are women, but that 1%, men can be affected as well. So make sure you guys are staying informed on this. And I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation today. And we will see you next time on Family Sit Down, Hale State.